You're watching the Batter Fans Network.
Chris, the Batter fans are back. Welcome, everybody, to episode number 46 of the Batter MLS Fans Podcast. I am your host, Daniel Granada, and alongside me, as always, Mr. KBD. How are you doing, sir?
This was an awful week, my friend. One of the worst weeks for MLS games.
It was not the best. We had quite a bit of draws. I want to say, give me a second while I do the math here. Actually, before I do the math, happy Jackie Robinson Day. Broke the color barrier 78 years ago. So that's the outfit. And we had how many no draws? We had 3 no draws. And if it wasn't for the Sporting KC Portland game, which had 6 goals, and the Vancouver Austin game, which also had 6 goals, this would have been a dire week when it comes to goal scoring.
Yeah.
Because if I could do this really quickly, see, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 10, 11, 14, 17, 19, 20, 21, 22, 24.
If you're counting the amount of goals,
33. There were 33
awful.
goals all week.
Awful.
And 12 of those came in 2 games.
Yeah.
So there's 33 goals in all the games. If you take those 2 games away, there was 21 goals in 13 games. Terrible. A terrible week of soccer for those of you that like goal scoring. But like we said, not the best. But we're gonna go ahead now. Starting next week, we are going to do 90 and 90. We're gonna give ourselves 90 seconds to recap the 90 minutes of each game. But because this week was so terrible, we're gonna stick to our 60-second clock just one more week. So we're gonna go to 60 seconds. And we're gonna run through these and let's go. You ready, Chris?
Well, this first one might be less than 60 because it's Toronto versus Minnesota, and that ended in a beautiful 0-0 draw. This game had, thankfully, 0-0 because Sean Johnson loves those. No goals permitted, walks away with a tie. Insigne and Bernadeschi, for the most part, worked better together this week.
That's what I did notice, that they were finally linking up together, and they moved Bernadeschi to the left side in the second half.
Yeah. Yes, they flip-flopped him. That was good. There was a big no call that was on the 32nd minute. It was a foul on Toronto. I know that Minnesota ended up getting a pretty early chance in the second minute. It was off the crossbar, and then it was blocked. So other than that, I mean, it was a 0-0 draw with some good goalies.
And Minnesota had 1 shot on goal all game. So it just wasn't good. It just wasn't an entertaining game. It was what started off the week of MLS football, and we should have just taken this and kind of figured what was about to happen for the rest of the week. So there goes Toronto and Minnesota. And we move on to probably the most disappointing team in the MLS, Atlanta against New England. And New England still hasn't scored a goal in open play.
Yes. Well, I mean, it could have been different. For those of you, I don't know if you watched Atlanta versus New England, but for those of you that are Inter Miami fans, go watch back and just fast forward to the 90th minute. They almost had a goal in open play, and Campana completely blows it, right? Other than that, Atlanta versus New England, I mean, they had an opportunity early in Atlanta with a corner. Almiron actually at the top of the
kick.
Yes. Oh my goodness. It went over the goalkeeper. Now Latelat had a huge tackle for a penalty in the 34th minute.
That was a game changer.
Yes, that was huge.
He tackled Carlos Gil. Gil scored the penalty. Now New England has scored 3 goals all year. All of them have been on either a set piece, whether it be a free kick or a penalty kick. It is wild to me how bad New England has been. But that is what we have. And Atlanta has been. Oh, and you know what's the worst thing about Atlanta? Is that they get so many chances. They had 18 shots this game. Again, we always say, oh, expected that XG stuff is kind of silly. Their XG was over 2.7, 2.17. Like Atlanta is somehow creating opportunities. They just can't seem to finish them. So Atlanta, by far the most disappointing so far in the league, and New England somehow gets the second win.
One thing I want to mention as far as blocks go, Atlanta versus New England had the second highest amount of blocks by goalies. I count them when I do the goalie videos. Check them out on our YouTube and Twitter and all that other stuff. They had 9 total blocks that I recorded. So,
all right, and then we move on to another snoozer. We had
oh
Orlando
gosh,
and the Red Bulls.
couldn't be any more Red Bully.
Your thoughts on Orlando Red Bulls?
I mean, Red Bull, they ended up scoring early in the beginning of the game, but that got called back offsides. That was super early.
Right?
Yeah, and I just want to mention something. Schlegel, I really do not like him. I really think that he's such a grimy player, super dirty. Just historically, every time I see him, he is a grimy player.
Well, he got 2 yellows. He got sent off with the red card in the 55th minute. So I feel like Orlando, Coronel, the keeper for the Red Bulls, kept them in the game. He was saving everything Orlando was throwing at him. And I think up until the 55th minute mark, Orlando fans are probably frustrated that they're not winning because they were the more dominant team up until that point. And then after the red card, you're kind of just happy to get away with just at least a point because then you're down to 10 men with, 40 minutes probably to go. So a snoozer. Orlando looked the better side. Coronel for the Red Bulls. I didn't see the team of the week this week, but I wouldn't be surprised if Coronel was part of that team of the week.
Yeah, I mean it was a good game in terms of just the back and forth, but let's move on to something that was a little bit more entertaining. We got we're already there. I thought that we were the next game. Okay. So Montreal versus Charlotte. Charlotte ended up walking away with a win by 1 goal. What do you think about this game?
Well, I will tell you, I forgot to talk. I will tell you that up until now, and I think that we should have like a top 5 episode where we just say who we think our top 5 MVPs are right now. I think Pep Biel might be number 1 for me. Pep Biel, I think, has been the heart of this attack for Charlotte. Charlotte hasn't been as dominant in the attack as people thought with Zaha and Ajimang, but Albada and Pep Biel have kept this team afloat as far as the attack goes. He has 8 goal contributions in 8 games, and Pep Biel is that guy. Montreal, they literally have just one guy, Sealy. Sealy is that whole team, and he couldn't do enough to get past the Kalina this week.
What I don't get though is Ajimang does all these step overs like unnecessarily. It's so annoying. Now the thing is, Pep Biel scored, but it was off of a turnover. Alvarez, the defender, he just kind of let the ball slip right past him, and then Pep Biel just decided to take advantage of it. Now Abada, his pace makes such a complete difference on this team. So that's one thing that I did notice watching in the game.
I think that Charlotte is still, to me, the second best team in the East. Oh, I guess I have to start giving respect to Columbus, right? So maybe the third best team. I think those are the top 3, right? Miami, Charlotte, and Columbus. I think it's a clear top 3 right now. But I think Charlotte, people sleep on Charlotte a little too much. Nobody talks about them. All right, so DC United, Cincinnati is what I got coming up next there, Chris. Your thoughts on DC United, Cincinnati?
Well, Valenzuela came up with the only goal in this game. I mean, this was another snoozer.
But this was a horrible clearance by McNaughton, our favorite boy, Luka McNaughton. Horrible clearance that led straight to a Cincinnati player, and that led to the goal.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing I did realize is I didn't see much of, at least I didn't get a chance to really catch too much of this game, but I didn't see too much of your boy, what's this guy, the guy from Portland?
Evander?
Yeah. I wasn't sure if he got the start or not, but as far as DC United, listen, DC United is who I thought they were. Like 0 goals. They didn't get an opportunity, crossing all over the place. Like they're a one-trick pony. So
yeah. And Evander didn't play. But Cincinnati, it stays afloat. They are record wise, they're right there with Charlotte. 5 wins, 1 draw, 2 losses. So
Yeah.
Cincinnati is quietly having a good season also, despite Evander not playing. Now we move on to NYCFC Philadelphia Union.
This was
Thoughts?
another miserable game. I
Hmm.
this is what it was the first game I believe that they didn't have Gazdag in the game. It was
Yes.
the first
And
time that they didn't have him.
and who replaced Daniel Gazdag? Because Daniel Gazdag has been a huge part of Philadelphia's success over the last couple of years. And who replaced him, Chris?
Yeah, I mean they just think let's just throw in Indiana Vasilev and he'll be our new Gazdag.
Hmm.
So I guess there's that. In the 55th minute, I noticed Andre Blake wasn't playing goalkeeper. The Philly goalkeeper comes out like if he's that guy. Okay. And
He's coming out a lot though.
yes. But the defender, when they scored the goal against Philly, the defender looked like he wasn't hustling back. I'd be furious if I was that goalkeeper. And Martinez with a
And
goal.
yeah, and that was I remember a long pass, a beautiful long pass. I forgot who it was that did the pass to Alonso Martinez, and the keeper just wild the way he came out of the box. Alonso Martinez just very
Wild.
calmly went around him and finished it. But that was the only goal scored in the game. The Philadelphia Union started the year by far the hottest attack in the league. They've scored 1 goal over the last 3 games. Like
I
they
mean,
have taken a huge dip. And what do you do when you're playing not up to the standards in which you started the season? Well, let's give away probably our
the
best playmaker.
I mean, literally, they're so cooked. They're so cooked.
We have to talk to Todd to see what was the thinking there, because I don't understand how you give up on Daniel Gazdag when your team is looking pretty good and all of a sudden you're taking a dip in performance.
And now you put him in Indiana Vasilev. On to the Vancouver Whitecaps versus Austin FC. Vancouver Whitecaps trample over Austin FC, 5 goals to 1. Is there anything else we could say other than Brian White?
Yes, but heading into this game, Austin had the best defense in the entire league. Austin
Yes.
had only allowed 3 goals in 7 matches. And all of a sudden, they give up 5 against Vancouver. Brian White had 4 goals. Emmanuel Sabi played on the left side. Gald has been injured forever. Ahmed came in last week, played well on the left side. Now Sabi's back there. This team is so deep from top to bottom that they are a problem in the West, and I wouldn't be surprised if they win the West, because I think some people have been waiting for them to come back to earth. They lost to Chicago 3-1, and they're like, "Oh, here it comes." No, no, no. They're staying strong. Your thoughts
Yes.
on this?
Well, and I think, look, Vancouver has been showing strength in terms of their attack. And like we talked about before, look, they've been facing some subpar, teams, but lately they did play against Austin. They played against Colorado. They had their matchup against Pumas. I mean, Vancouver's looking scary.
Yeah. I wasn't there. There was a I want to say that there was a PK taken by Rios that they didn't let Brian White take it, and I believe it got blocked or he
Yes,
missed
it
it.
did. Yeah, the goalie
Brian
blocked
White
it in the
could have had
72nd minute.
5 goals, and I believe that there was another one in which it got called back off an offside.
Yes.
There's a chance that Brian White ends this game with 6 goals if they let him. The
Oh, he'd have a
offside and the fact that they didn't let him take the PK, they let Rios take it instead, and I think it got blocked. I forgot. I can't remember now if he got blocked.
yeah, he
But
did. He got blocked in the 72nd minute.
he could have had 6 goals like this, and they just kept going. Let me look back real quick to see. And I know we've spent more than 60 seconds on this one, but this is the only game that we're.
This is the best game of the week. I mean, listen, he
No,
should
this
be
was
getting
the best game of the week, but this was fun.
he should be getting a FIFA card if he gets all these goals.
He
So
should have had 6. So let's see real quick. I wanted to see how many shots they had. Vancouver had 27 shots, 11 on target. Their XG was 4.76, so they outperformed their XG. So yeah, man, it was quite the performance there for Vancouver.
yeah, it's scary season for Vancouver right now. Let's
right.
move over to Dallas against Seattle. Seattle walks away with a 1-0 game. What did you think of this game, Danny?
Uh, this game, the only goal came off of a rebound. I'm trying to
Yes.
remember who it was. Was it Jesus Ferreira? I forgot who was that
It
took the
was
shot.
it was Ferreira that took the shot. It was the 17th minute off the bar. It was rebounded by Musovski for the goal.
Now,
Now
this
there
was
was
the first game that Jordan
yeah,
Morris finally was technically available to come back. He didn't play, but he
he
was
was on the
finally
bench.
right. He didn't check in, but he was available to come back. Now, Musovski's the one that started in his place. So I thought it was nice that he got that goal. He almost had a second rebound goal. I think they called it offside. But right place, right time. Jesus Ferreira has been the biggest disappointment, I think, because Seattle's always lacking in the attack.
Big
Jordan
time.
Moore's getting injured, and Jesus Ferreira being a ghost has really killed him this season. Real quick, your thoughts. Lucho is still dancing around and breakdancing everybody down
He's
on
the
that left
only
side.
one. He's the only one doing anything. Dallas is still under construction. I mean, I don't know what's happening.
I saw that supposedly the stadium was sold out, but it sounded so quiet in there.
It did. It looked like a second tier league team. Okay, that's embarrassing.
All right. And now we go. Nashville, Real Salt Lake. 3 goals in total in this game. Chris, this was a barn burner for this weekend. Your thoughts on Nashville, Real Salt Lake?
Yeah, with the Nashville versus Real Salt Lake, the one thing I got to give some credit to is finally they convert on a penalty, Nashville.
That's because they took Mukhtar off.
Yeah.
They're like, you're not taking him anymore.
Well, Surridge also got blocked on a penalty earlier in this season. So luckily they were able to convert on that. Now, RSL, I got to be honest, I didn't see this kit, and their kit is ugly. I don't know what you thought of their kits, but the kit that game, and I should have brought a picture.
That
their kits are ugly as hell.
looking one.
Yes, you didn't put the timer.
Oh,
now,
no.
RSL started the attack early. In terms of like RSL, they were really good on the attack for the most part, and it's surprisingly because in reality they have one set of attack with what is it with Diego Luna.
Mm-hmm.
They were able to go ahead and get a goal later on. I believe it was on the 12th minute. It was a great block by Willis, but they rebounded it for the goal. So
that kid Kassam for Nashville is a problem.
Yes.
He's really good down that right side. Mukhtar, they took off the PK. Surridge finally converted one. And Nashville, I thought they had a lot more chance. They should have scored more than 2. They had a lot of chances. And I'll tell you right now how many shots they had. They had 22 shots.
If it wasn't for Honey Mustard, they wouldn't have had that penalty. Because he's the one that got fouled in the box.
When he drew it, I thought he might be the one to take it.
Yeah.
I was surprised that he didn't take it. But yes, Nashville wins again. BJ Callahan's doing a decent job there with Nashville because some people were expecting them to take a dip, and he's done a really good job with them so far. And again, that Kasim guy is looking pretty good. Might draft him in my non-DP draft. All right, so here we go. Colorado, San Diego. Colorado still my dark horse to win the West. I enjoy watching Colorado, and I love anybody named Yappy. Your thoughts on this game, Colorado, San Diego?
I'm assuming that this is the game that you want to say was the best game of the week.
Yes, to me, this was the game of the week. Absolutely.
Yes, and you know, man, San Diego is showing out, man. I got to give them a lot of credit. In the beginning of the season, we were making fun of them about who the hell they're picking up and all this kind of stuff, and they're showing out. They're doing really good. Listen, great goalkeeping from Stefan. Stefan is a really good goalkeeper. As far as like this game is concerned, we had a couple goals. There was a penalty. Chucky Lozano crossed it to Valakari, almost gets the shot in. Like
that was a beautiful cross.
Yes, there was a lot of really great opportunities.
Lozano finally started because he didn't start last week. He's finally started, and he had that beautiful, what could have been an assist. Valakari didn't convert. For those of you that love CJ Dos Santos, because I know that there's a few people out there that yes, there was one where Yappy, well, these CJ Dos Santos had the ball at his feet, and I think he forgot that he was playing because he kind of just stood there and just let the ball just chill in front of his feet.
Yes.
Did he not see Yappy closing in on him? I don't know. But Yappy went ahead, stole the ball, laid it off to I forgot who it was. They ended up not scoring. Should have been a goal. That should have been on CJ Dos Santos. Later on, Yappy again is playing the ball, has his back to the goal, and CJ Dos Santos dives at the ball, knocks down Yappy right by the back of his knee, gets called for the penalty kick, and it leads to a goal. CJ Dos Santos did not have the best of games. Andre Dreyer, still a baller. You can see that he would be another person that I would put in that MVP conversation. But Colorado just edged them is basically, I guess, the best way I could put it.
Well, CJ Dos Santos, I would probably say confidently, he knows that this was probably his worst game of the season.
This was a really entertaining game.
Yeah, he's afforded the opportunities, though, so it's good for him.
All right, LA Galaxy, Houston Dynamo.
Well, and Gerard gets the start here.
Mm-hmm.
Giroud
No. You're thinking LAFC. This is Galaxy.
Oh, that's right. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's right. With LA Galaxy,
Ramirez got the start, and he has 4 goals in the last 6 games. Well, before this one, 4 goals in the last 7 games now.
Yeah. Now, also Pellegrino had a great cross that was passed over to him. He couldn't be able to convert on that. As far as like the game is concerned, LAFC played a lot better than I anticipated. I mean, LA Galaxy played a lot better than I anticipated because they've been playing kind of garbage lately.
I think Galaxy's defense is just terrible.
Yeah, it is.
Like they leave so many holes. Like they're one of those teams that they when they get back on defense, they crowd the box, but they somehow manage to leave windows open because Houston was just connecting passes within those defenders. Ponce had a nice goal in which he was between 2 defenders in the box, and somehow somebody got him the ball easily, just quick tap in. And then there was a red card. There was, that's right. And then there was a red card. I thought it was Zanka. It says here it was Jorgensen, but there was a red card given to the Galaxy. And although they got the red card, they ended up scoring a free kick goal down a man. So they were down a man when they went down 1-0, but they ended up scoring a Fagundes banger from a free kick to tie the game, and they salvaged themselves a point.
As a matter of fact, 2 goals in this game made the top 5. So guys, check that out. We have it on our page. You can be able to see the top 5 there. Peck
Twitter and Instagram.
Peck was almost
later.
Yes, later on in the 72nd minute, he was able to almost convert. But
and you know what I liked about it is that Fagundes had hit that banger the first time, and then he stood there next to Peck, and he kept telling the wall like, "No, go here, go in." And he's like trying to distract the defender. He's talking to them as Peck is kicking the ball as he's still doing it. So they try to be slick with it. Didn't work, but
oh well.
All right. So let's see. Coming up next, we got LAFC and San Jose, and this is the game that you were referring to when you said that Giroud got the start.
Yeah, and then Bouanga blows a big chance early in the game, around like the 9th or 10th minute, or 10th or 11th minute. There was a good play by Giroud that he had a sort of like a good look ahead pass. It was around like the 35th, 34th minute to Hollingshead. Gets it to Ordaz, but they played pretty good defense, San Jose. I was surprised that San Jose didn't put up as many goals, to be perfectly honest. I mean, you're probably not surprised.
But LAFC is that defensive team. LAFC, it's going to be hard to score on LAFC. They're going to defend with their lives. I know there was the one goal the first goal that LAFC scored, I thought was nice. Boagna was out on the left side. Nobody really pressured him. They gave him the ability to kind of build up for a shot. They blocked it, and then Palencia got the rebound and missiled it home. And then the Boagna goal, wasn't that a shot by Giroud? Because there was a bad turnover. It was a horrible clearance by San Jose. I think it was Ordaz that got the steal, played it up to Giroud. Giroud took the shot, rebound, and then Boagna sped up and just tapped it in. So
it's funny that it's funny that you mentioned that goal, because once Boanga puts it in the back of the net, I kind of look to the side to look at Giroud, And for a split second, you could see he's so disappointed.
Yes.
He's
Oh, how funny
so
you said.
mad.
I noticed the same thing because he looked like he wasn't like as soon
He
as
wasn't
Bonga put it in,
excited.
he looked up. He's like, ah, because he
This guy
wants to
got to
get in the back
go.
of the net. Yeah, well, I
Exactly.
think he's more disappointed that because at that point they were up 2-0 at that point, so I guess it wasn't a game changer at that moment. But
It looked like there
he
was a
was,
handball towards the end, though.
and Chicho scored early, but there was an offside. San
Yeah.
Jose again. I think that they're going to be a playoff team, but I'm not convinced that they're a contender just quite yet. All right, we're coming down to it. We got 3 games left. Portland Timbers, Sporting KC, 4-2. Your boy Neville wins. Your thoughts on Timbers, Sporting KC?
Well, this is a game where I noticed that we also, I mean, Anthony, he didn't get any goals here. He didn't have any
No,
big.
but he had a big play though.
Yes, he did. It was like in the 28th minute. He steps on the foot in the box that leads to a PK where Jovic ended up converting the PK.
Well, that's not what I was talking about, but yeah, that one of the goals, I forgot which goal it was, that he pressed up high and he won the ball.
Yes.
And it led to an easy Kelsey goal.
It was I believe it was the 26th minute.
Okay.
It deflects off of Anthony for the goal.
So Portland is looking like a formidable team. Sporting KC, they're looking better since they had the coaching change. I think they've looked better, but they're still they're definitely not a good team. If you have Kerry Shelton and your starting lineup, you don't have a deep team.
Well, at least Sporting Kansas City put up a couple goals. I'm sure the fans are pretty excited for that.
I mean, it wasn't KC, and KC Stadium looks so England to me. I don't know why, but it looks very England to me. All right, we have Chicago, Inter Miami. In Chicago, another dumpster fire of a 0-0 draw.
As
Your
boring
thoughts
as
on the
this
Chicago
looks.
Fire, Inter Miami.
Yeah, a lot of nothing burger here. No goals, 0-0. No. I mean, it was just nothing.
The stadium was sold out.
Yes,
I think it's the biggest crowd Chicago Fire has ever had.
Ever.
Messi, the best chance that Inter Miami had came in the first 10 minutes, where Kramaki intercepted a ball, laid it off to Messi, took a shot from outside the box, and our boy Joe Dirt came up with the save. Joe Dirt had a couple good saves there on some Messi free kicks also.
Yes,
and the Chicago Fire also had a few opportunities that Ustadi saved Inter Miami from. So the keepers definitely were big factors in this game, keeping this game 0-0. But Chicago, I think, it's convinced me that it's going to be a contender and it's a solid squad.
A total of 6 blocks that game. And just to talk back about the other game, Sporting KC versus Portland, that game had the most goalie blocks with 12 or 13 goalie blocks in that game. So
on top of 6 goals.
Yeah, on top of 6 goals. So it was the best goalie performance in terms of blocks for the game.
All right. Your thoughts on Inter Miami, Chicago? Do you believe in Chicago?
Yes, I do.
Do you still think Inter Miami is the best team in the East?
Yes, I do think they're the best team in the East.
All right. And then moving on to the last game, which was Sunday Night Soccer, which what is technically the best team in the East if you go by the standings. Columbus Crew went ahead and they beat St. Louis City 2-1. And I mean, Nancy's just doing a great job.
So Klaus gets his first goal here of the season, which is great for St. Louis because I really expected
that was the first time he scored since May 21st, 2024. It's almost been a full calendar year since he scored.
Yeah. Gazdag also made his first appearance for the Crew. He came off the bench though. As far as like Columbus, you could tell that they're doing pretty well without Gazdag. It's scary to see that they're going to have an addition like Gazdag come on this team because he was offsides towards the end of the game, but like he had a goal that they called back offsides. There was a bad giveaway by Columbus Crew, almost turned into a goal in the 72nd minute for St. Louis, but Obviously, it was overturned. So, and Rossi, he's shutting me up because I called Rossi and I said he's not going to be that guy. And Diego Rossi has been kind of doing pretty good with this team.
And I think he's another person that would be in that conversation for MVP.
He would be.
And then,
Yes.
real quick, two things. Klaus had a second goal that they called offside. I didn't think he was offside. I thought I had an image of it. I did not think he was offside. But they called it offside, so they weren't able to tie the game. They ended up losing 2-1. And
Yeah.
I want to bring up Steven Moreira. He was the defensive player of the year last year. Now, the reason I want to bring this up is because somebody did a great job. I feel bad that I don't remember who it was. Somebody that covers St. Louis, I believe, put up this picture. So I'm going to share this picture right now. I'm not going to find it right now. But this picture right here, you see that pass right now? That
Yes, I
pass
see
is
it.
being delivered. That guy in the circle is Steven Moreira. He is standing right there. He ends up with the goal.
Yeah, I think he ended up tapping it in. No.
Yes, and all the defenders kind of just fall asleep. That guy right next to him, Pompey. By the way, Pompey is nasty. He could take guys on one, and he'll dribble around them. He'll dance around them. He's the one that creates a lot of chances down the left side. But he completely lost Moreira and Columbus. If your defender is given the liberty to attack up that high to finish a goal like this, Nancy's in his bag because he's giving the defenders freedom to push up, and he ends up finishing that goal. So I thought that was very impressive. I thought it was a great shot to show the lapse in defense by St. Louis,
Yes.
but also the fact that Nancy's giving these guys the liberty to kind of push up that high.
That was scary because
Yeah.
for Wilfred Nancy's getting in his bag without Cucho, and now with Gazdag.
The Gaza thing to me is a little wild. But again, we need to talk to Todd about this. Maybe he can enlighten us on what the hell's going on over there.
Yeah, no, it's a dumpster fire.
So, real quick, let's go over the standings, and I'll go ahead and share my screen while we wrap this up here. And this is the Eastern Conference standings as of right now. You have Columbus on top. Followed by Charlotte, Cincinnati, and Miami. Those are the top four. Then Philadelphia in 5, Nashville 6, Orlando 7, Chicago 8, the Red Bulls in 9, and then NYCFC 10, Atlanta 11, New England 12, DC 13, Toronto 14, and Montreal with 2 points, 15. So like we said, we believe that Atlanta and NYCFC are going to be fighting with the Red Bulls, Chicago, Orlando, and Nashville for those last couple of playoff spots.
Yeah.
How do you feel? Do you look at this and can you see the season ending this way?
No, I do see Atlanta being a little higher.
Okay.
I do see DC United being like 1 or 2 spaces higher. And
what about at the top?
I feel Philadelphia is going to come down crashing.
You think so?
They're going to come crashing down.
Yeah,
There's
I
no way.
Yeah, that Kazdag move is going to kill them, huh?
It is huge. I mean, it's a huge blow to that team. There's no way they're going to be able to maintain.
But the reason they did it is because they got Damiani, that Uruguayan guy. They got him, and they didn't really have a place to put him. So I think that's why they felt like Gazdag was expendable. Now, was it a smart move? I don't know, but
so who's going to solve a Gazdag replacement? Damiani and Indiana Vasilev? Get out of here.
Quinn Sullivan's still balling, but okay. So you think Philadelphia's going to drop? I think that Miami, Columbus, and Charlotte are the top 3 teams. Cincinnati's had a quiet, nice season, but I just think Columbus, Charlotte, and Miami are going to be the top 3 teams, and I guess Cincinnati at 4. And I think that'll be the top. Now, how those 4 end up, I don't know. I would assume that Miami still ends up on top. Honestly, they have a game in hand at the moment. And because they have a game in hand, if they were to play that game and win it, they would technically be tied for first place. So
technically, yes.
Yeah. And then looking at the West, Vancouver first, Minnesota second, San Diego third, Portland. Well, actually, San Diego is tied with Portland and Colorado for third, fourth, and fifth. Austin 6th, LAFC 7th, Dallas 8th, San Jose 9th, Real Salt Lake 10th, Seattle 11th. St. Louis finally came crashing all the way down. Then Houston City and Galaxy. Um, Seattle, look, out of nowhere, they get one win. All of a sudden, they're right back in the playoff picture. They're not going to miss the playoffs.
No way.
But looking at the top, how do you feel the top? Do you think that what kind of moves are going to happen here at the top?
So I believe Austin's going to come down. I believe Dallas is going to come down. And I feel like the teams that are going to replace them essentially are going to be Seattle, LA Galaxy, even though they got a hard hill to climb.
You know, it's funny. You're not the only one that keeps saying that, but the Galaxy look really bad right now, and I think it's their defense more than anything.
So, but are you gonna doubt when they get their full squad ready? Like that's gonna be dangerous still.
Well, Push doesn't come back to like August or September. I think it's gonna be too little, too late by then.
Well, that's what everybody's afraid of, right? Is it too little, too late, or is it with just enough time? I mean, you don't have that many dangerous teams on top of them.
They haven't won a single game yet.
Hey, but there's a lot of teams up there like Dallas. They're gonna creep down. Austin, they're gonna creep down. I mean, the state of Texas, they're in shambles right now.
All right, so I know this is a way too early prediction, but just like we did with the East, in your West, who's the top four in the West by the time the season ends? And obviously, it's gonna change plenty of times, but we're just spitballing here.
I'm gonna go Vancouver, Vancouver, San Diego, Columbus, and San Jose.
Columbus is in the East.
I mean, not Columbus, Colorado. My fault.
Okay. I'm going Vancouver, Minnesota, Colorado, and I don't want to say San Diego.
I mean, you really don't like San Jose?
No.
Wow.
No, I don't believe in San Jose. I think they'll be a playoff team, but I don't believe in them. I don't believe in them like being a contender.
Top four. I'm Western. I'm Western saying Portland, Vancouver, Colorado, Minnesota. Minnesota's a sleeper too. They're putting goals up.
Oh yeah, no. Minnesota technically could be the best team in the West right now if it wasn't for those two horrible giveaways where they gave up two wins and they drew both those games. Right now, they would literally be tied for first with Vancouver.
So who's your four?
I guess Vancouver, Minnesota, Colorado. And I will say that LAFC somehow ends up in fourth.
Ooh. I mean, they've just been so shaky, LAFC.
Yeah, but I think they'll figure it out. And Dario Martinez has been out the last couple of games. When he comes back, he's going to be good. And they'll do something in the summer transfer. I think LAFC somehow ends up in the top four. So I'm going to go Vancouver 1, Minnesota 2, Colorado 3, LAFC 4.
Yeah, I think that's going to be – I think it's possible for sure. I mean, I think San Jose is going to be higher. Dennis Lopez is telling you to drink some Get Real juice. LAFC ain't happening, Danny.
I don't want to say San Diego. I think that I don't know. Maybe. All right. Real quick, team of the week. Who was the most impressive team for you this week?
I mean, I'm going to have to go with the obvious here. I'm gonna have to go with the obvious. Vancouver is the team of the week.
Right. 5 goals on the best defense in the league, statistically at least. I think it is an obvious one. Just to say something different, just to add another team out there.
Colorado.
I'm gonna put Colorado Rapids kid. I love that team. I don't know why. I love that team. I'm gonna buy me a Colorado Rapids. I'm gonna get me a Mihailovic shirt. So I'm gonna say Colorado for beating San Diego, one of the other top teams in the West. Bouncing back from that loss to Vancouver 2-0. And then Toronto was most impressive.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't look bad. They looked better, and you saw the Italians working better together.
Bernadeschi and Insigne were finally linking up well together. That's true. And then putting Bernadeschi on the left side was interesting.
And then Dennis is saying, I still think Seattle will put it together. I mean, yeah, for sure. So, I think those two teams that we picked are pretty good. So
okay, Que Pena. Who was the Que Pena performance of the week?
The Que Pena performance team of the week. I'm gonna give it to San Diego.
Really?
I'm gonna give it to San Diego because listen, there was a lot of blunders in front of the goalie. There was a lot of blunders on defense. So that's what I'm gonna give my Que Pena award to San Diego.
I'm gonna give it to Atlanta. At home, against a bad New England team. You take a billion shots and you get shut out.
And they're the worst team. Like New England's one of the worst teams.
They don't score in open play. Like
They don't
just
play
follow
soccer.
them. Latte went straight Atlanta Falcons. He forgot that it was Saturday and not Sunday, and he full tackled Carlos Hill inside the box and gave up the game-winning goal. That was it. That was the difference in the game. One PK. Latte, good job. You're supposed to score for your team, not take points away.
Yeah.
So, Atlanta, que pena. To me, the most disappointing team so far this year. Atlanta might still creep into the playoffs. How perfect would it be if they creep into the playoffs in the 9th seed and they play against the Miami, the first seed again?
Oh my gosh, that would be awful. And Mike V is saying que pena is Miami by a lot.
Well, I'll give that number 2. I want number 2 definitely Miami, because they got to get on the scoreboard. Like you can't get shut out with that offense you have.
Listen, I feel bad. I'm going to tell you the que pena that I feel like actual pena for is all of Chicago. Like, finally, Messi plays in front of Chicago, packs the stadium, record attendance, and you walk away with a 0-0 draw. Like, I think this is worse than last time. At least Chicago gave you half a discount on food and Jason Derulo. This time you got Messi and 0 goals. Like, it was awful.
Yeah, it was bad. Any final thoughts? Oh, actually, before I get to your final thoughts, just so you know, in the next week or two, I don't know if we're going to do it next week or the following week, Chris and I are going to go ahead and do a draft. We are going to, because we need to get this MLS thing growing. We want to grow this league and get the knowledge up there. We're going to do a draft of non-DP players. I'm going to choose my starting 11 of non-DP players. Chris is going to choose his starting 11 of non-DP players. And once we get those rosters, because we like to talk crap to each other, how do we figure out whose team is better? Well, we're going to build those teams in FIFA and just let them play. We're not even going to – I won't even control them. We'll just let the computer play against the computer, see who wins.
CPU versus CPU.
Yeah, but we do want to have a little draft, and maybe I'll put it out there. Maybe somebody else can give us what they feel that their best 11 of non-DP players are, because I think that it's fun. It's just fun seeing all the other players in this league that are ballers, but people don't really talk about them too much. I mean, Robert Taylor would be one, right?
Robert Taylor would be one.
Yannick Bright would be another.
Oh, for sure, in the bag.
So look, there's players like that all over
names. Okay,
I know. I'm just saying that there's players like that all over the league. So we just want to put those names out there.
Hey, Rubita, I'm learning little by little, okay? I'm not
Chris has taken a deep dive this year for the purposes of this show. But you know what? It's funny because we were talking about it over the weekend, and he told me how much he's enjoying it. So, the best thing to do, you do your best work when you love your work.
Yes. And honestly, Rubita, I went from a person saying I hate soccer to loving this sport and loving this league. So let's go.
Any final thoughts there, Chris?
Brian or Baribo for Golden Boot? Neither. Western.
Well, Baribo's going to take a step back.
Oh yeah, Baribo's cooked after this. There's no you could drop Baribo right now from your text message. I'm Western.
No, I wouldn't say I would drop him completely, but I think that he's going to take a step back. Who would you go for Golden Boot?
Well, I mean, right now Brian White's there just because he destroyed.
But he got 4 goals in that one game. He could have had 6. He got 4 goals, but he has 6 all year. So that means he had 2 in the previous 7 games.
I think it's too early. To be talking Golden Boot talk. I think at least let's get halfway through the season, then we can have some more confident talk about. I mean, Golden Boot at this point. I mean, I would have said Baribo, but he just lost freaking Gazdag.
No, I would have never said Baribo. I said Alonso Martinez in my MLS preview show. Dark horse for that. So Alonso Martinez, and then Hugo Kuipers in Chicago with Bamba delivering him the ball, Brian Gutierrez behind him, Zinker Nagel, whatever, how you pronounce his name, on the right side. I think Hugo Kuipers. To me, those are the 2 possibilities for Golden Boot. Just way too early prediction. I think those are the dark horses. And And somebody's saying Suarez. No, I don't think Suarez is going to be in that conversation this year.
Well, listen. I
Messi
remember
could be in that conversation.
I remember people and I'm Western saying Rocco is a good choice. I remember people were talking about Campana competing for this. Guys, watch the New England highlights against Atlanta and just fast forward to like the 88th minute and just watch from there on.
Messi at the moment has 3 goals. All he needs is 1 hat trick, and he's tied for the league. And I wouldn't put it past him to end up with a hat trick here at some point. So,
for sure.
I wouldn't put it past for Messi to win the Golden Boot if he can stay healthy and play a lot of games.
My final thoughts, Danny. MLS, do better next week, please.
Yes.
For the love of God.
Yes. Please stop with these 0-0 draws, because if you're going to have a draw, at least put a couple goals up. Because if you give me like a 3-3 draw, like, okay, that was a good game. It was entertaining. But this 0-0 stuff is just ridiculous. Yeah. We'll be back tomorrow. We're going to continue with our roundtable. We haven't had those in a couple of weeks because of all the Champions Cup games. So we'll be back tomorrow talking calendar, right? Not Drake calendar, but the choice of MLS to keep the current calendar. And we'll be talking some disappointing teams. So that means that Tommy's probably going to be around because, you know, he has the most disappointing team. So Tommy one time might be joining us. And then on Thursday, we'll be doing our prediction show. It's going to be rapid fire. For our prediction show, we want it to be rapid fire. So we're going to go ahead, give our rapid fire results, and that'll be 10 o'clock on Thursday. So we hope that you guys enjoyed it. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe. If you're listening on audio, leave a comment, 5 stars. And for those of you in the chat, as always, you guys are the best part of the show. Again, every like and subscription really helps us out. So we hope that you guys do that and continue joining us. We'll be back tomorrow night for a roundtable discussion about the MLS in general. So until the next one, have a good one.